So I've been on this plant-based cheese series for a few videos now, and we recently made a vegan cheese where we fermented tofu and added it to some potato starch to make a really stretchy, gooey, creamy, awesome flavored fermented cheese. Now that cheese came out pretty good, but we're still continuing on this journey to find the best methods to make a really good plant-based cheese. Now recently somebody suggested that I try the potato carrot cheese. Now I did a little bit of research and I found a ton of recipes for making a potato and carrot cheese. It looks really good, but you know me, I have to take it a step further. We found out by fermenting tofu that it really gave that potato starch a really nice cheesy flavor. So I thought, instead of just making a potato carrot cheese, why don't we ferment the carrot and ferment the potato before we turn them into a dippable cheese? I have a feeling that's gonna add a very nice cheesy flavor to it. I think it's gonna give it that kind of cheesy funk that we're looking for. And we're getting one step closer to making some of the best vegan cheeses made. Let's try this out. Let's ferment some stuff and see if we can come up with a really good vegan cheese. So this ferment is going to be really simple. You just need a few ingredients. We're just gonna use some potatoes, some carrots, natural sea salt, a purified water, and I'm gonna use a little ferment starter to help kind of speed up the process. We're gonna add just a drop of kimchi to it. Now this isn't necessary, you don't have to add this, otherwise this is gonna be very simple. This is just gonna help kind of speed up the process and give us a little extra funk that we're looking for. So I have 4 russet potatoes and 3 carrots. All we're gonna do is just clean these up. I'm just gonna peel them. I'm gonna chop the carrot ends. So I just have a bowl of cold water here. That's just to drop the potatoes in so that way they don't turn color. Then pretty much all I'm gonna do is just chop these guys into fries. Now I'm only doing it in fries just kind of speed up the fermentation process. This is just gonna give more surface area to help ferment and speed up that process. Now the carrots, like I said, we're just gonna clean up the ends and then we're gonna matchstick the carrots. The rest of this recipe is really simple. So now that we have the carrots and the potatoes fried up, the rest of this recipe is really simple. Now you can see in my bowl here with the potatoes, we are losing some of the potato starch. Don't worry, we'll take care of that in a later step because we do want some of that starch to make this very gooey cheesy. I have 2 sanitized wide mouth jars. Now for the kimchi, I'm just gonna take 1 small piece of kimchi, which is gonna go in the bottom of each one of these jars. Then we're just gonna pack these things full. I want them completely packed up. I'm actually gonna throw another piece of this kimchi right on top, one of these just pieces of cabbage. Now I warmed this bottle up by putting it under some tap water because it just needs to be fairly warm, but we're just gonna do about 4 cups. This might be enough for both of them. I'm not really sure, I don't think so. 4 cups of the purified water, it's kind of warm. And then add 2 1/4 teaspoons of the sea salt. We're just gonna give that a real quick stir to dissolve. Now you don't wanna use an iodized salt or any sort of like treated salt. You also wanna look at your salts to make sure that they don't have any sort of like caking agent in them. They'll just say sea salt. And that is as difficult as that brine mixture is. There's not a whole lot to it. We're just gonna go ahead and pour this brine over. Essentially, you just want to pour enough water up to about the shoulder. If you go too far past that, then if this expands and grows, you're gonna have a boil over. Just wiping this lid with a clean paper towel. Let's drop on our cleaned fermenting lid, and then let's move on to the potatoes. So we have these guys, they're ready to go. I'm gonna put them in the warmest room in my house. These wanna stay at about 72, 73 degrees. I'll see you guys in about 3 days, and we're gonna turn this into some really good cheese. Okay, so we're about 3 days into fermentation with these guys. They look really good. We haven't had any sort of like boil over. Definitely smells fermented. It's got a little bit of a funk going on, which is cool. It's a good funk. Oh, the potatoes definitely have a nice funk to them too, which is really nice. Now you can see there's a little bit of like a carbonation that's kind of happened around the outside here. That's the fermentation happening. So I'm gonna be adding pretty much everything from the jar except the liquid into a high-powered blender. Now, if you don't have a high-powered blender, this might not work as well. Now, I'm probably gonna, I said that I was gonna do all of the carrots, but I think I'm just gonna do about half of them and just see really nice consistency, really nice mixture to this. Now, because we washed these potatoes, they got wet, we lost a lot of potato starch. Potato starch is gonna be really important to the stretchiness and cheesiness of this. I'm gonna add about 2 tablespoons of potato starch back into this mixture. We're also gonna add 3 tablespoons of coconut oil. Now I'm gonna do 1/2 of a teaspoon of sweet paprika. Depending on the flavor that you want of your cheese, you could do a smoked paprika, but we kind of want like a funky sweet cheese going on here. Do about 1/2 of a teaspoon of garlic powder and 1/4 cup of nutritional yeast. This is gonna give it its cheesy flavor. So at this point, we're just gonna pop the lid on, blend this up, see how well it blends together. We might need to add some liquid. It's going together fairly well. I'm gonna take about 1/2 of a tablespoon of the brine and just drop that in here. It started to heat up from putting it on that high speed. This smells crazy cheesy. Now we're not done yet because it's still kind of grainy. Okay, so I've blended this down to about as smooth as I can get. I'm gonna pour it through a mesh strainer just to get any large bits, anything that didn't really get blended in. So just from what I can tell with this recipe, I'm gonna add another tablespoon of potato starch. That brings it up to about 1/4 cup of potato starch total, 4 tablespoons. I'm gonna get a heavy handle whisk and on a low heat, just start mixing this in. Shouldn't need any salt with this because the fermented potatoes and carrots are already a little salty, being in that saltwater brine. Now I only added about 1/2 of my carrots to this. Now that I'm looking at it, I kind of feel like I could have done all of the carrots, but you know what? This is gonna work. So at this point, just because we're trying to get that flavor, I'm just gonna add some vegetable broth, probably about a tablespoon to start off with. Or it started to cook a little too thick and I wanted to get it thinner and creamier. Whew, my gosh, I'm getting a workout over here. Gotta switch to the other arm. I think that's a nice, stretchy, gooey cheese that we have going on here. Did take a little bit of tweaking to get it to this consistency. I mean, look at this. This is a cheese. Now this will firm up a little bit because of the coconut oil, but it's not gonna like firm totally hard into a block. You won't be able to use it as like a shreddable cheese, but you will be able to use it as like a spreadable cheese. Probably for like a sandwich, something like that. Wow. Okay. Now, do you really know what's in this? Did I tell you what's in this? You don't know what's in it.
No, I don't really know. It tastes like cheese. It's good cheese.
It's like really good cheese. I know we're eating nacho chips, but it's not like a nacho cheese.
No, this might sound weird, but it's like a hummus cheese.
Okay.
But it's good.
I can see that.
Cheesy hummus.
Okay.
That's all I wanted to say.
Okay, cheesy hummus. Well, I mean, that's it. That is fermenting some carrots and potatoes to make a funkier potato carrot cheese. Oh, that is cool. I really like where we're going with this cheese series by fermenting the tofu, fermenting the carrots and the potatoes, using a lactic acid. I'm learning some steps that's gonna help me develop a better cheese in the end. We're gonna keep working on this cheese series. If you have any other cheeses or any other cheese ideas to make a plant-based cheese better, let me know in the comments down below. But if not, click the subscribe button and click this video right here. This is gonna be the rest of my cheese series. I'm not a fan of this.